Hello everybody and welcome to the 6th annual Hawktober event celebrating skateboarding video games for an entire week. This year we're diving into some pro skater alternatives of the early 2000s, starting off with Thrasher presents Skate and Destroy on the PlayStation 1. Roll the intro.
It's rolling, guys, hit it. Oh, that was sick.
Soul making, sound shaking, earth quaking, change.
Thrasher magazine, the skater's bible as some have called it. Since the early 80s it was the best place for the most dedicated of skateboarders, with monthly on-the-scene news, photos, and also covered related niches and industries like the current music of the times. And moving into the 1990s, they annually announced their Skater of the Year, starting perfectly with the legendary Birdman himself. Now, with print media taking its walk into the sunset while the internet age took over the world, these days one of Thrasher's largest successes would be a strong social media presence. Their YouTube channel is a favourite of mine, showcasing a wide range of video parts, Hall of Meat with the sickest bales, and my personal favourite, the My War series. These short documentaries cover a skater's journey battling to land the craziest trick in the wildest spots. Incredible stuff, honestly, it's inspiring shit. However, Thrasher has also gained a lot of mainstream buzz in the fashion community for the rise in popularity of streetwear, with the likes of Supreme and every other big brand all seeing wider success among the non-skateboarding communities. We're talking about posers, basically. Big dirty fakes who think they're cool and hard enough to rock the brand without having ever taken a single bump onto the concrete. Posers just like me. Yes, admittedly, I have never ridden a skateboard. Well, I've never ridden one successfully, let's just put it that way. Now, I can see why skaters would be upset seeing their subculture hoard out to the mainstream like this, because it truly is such a sacred thing to many people. But at the same time, in my opinion anyway, anything to shine a brighter spotlight onto the sport can only be a good thing. You know, just look at all of those skateboarding games that come out at the turn of the century, and an entire generation of kids who grew up wanting to be skateboarders. Now on that note, in late October of 1999, right in the second whirlwind of the second skateboard boom, Thrasher teamed up with developer Z-Axis and Rockstar Games to bring us Skate and Destroy. Hell yeah! But there was one problem. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater landed a fat 900 onto store shelves a mere month prior to its release. So take a guess who got all of the accolades. That leaves me with a burning question that I've always wanted to answer for myself. What does Thrasher have to offer as an alternative to Pro Skater? Let's drop in and find out, shall we? Now at the time, Rockstar, having successfully launched GTA 2 several weeks ago, were balls deep in procreating the early stages of Grand Theft Auto 3 along with other projects including Skate and Destroy. And yeah, with the very first THPS the prior month and God only knows what else releasing at the time, man, we were spoiled for choice, weren't we? Many have recalled this game to be a hidden gem of '99, so I'm excited to see what it does differently. Just please be aware of the inevitable comparisons to Pro Skater. I hate to be that guy, but it was officially the standard, there is no denying it. However, while THPS was a more bombastic, arcade-like experience, Skate and Destroy promotes itself as a true, grounded skateboarding title, almost to the level of a simulation game, and takes on that role with full responsibility and respect. Even inside the first page of the game manual, we can see a descriptive history on the sport. Very clearly this is a love letter from skaters to skateboarding. Without any particular big names attached, we're given a selection of 6 generic characters to play as, each with varying ability. I'm going to play as Cyrus, as he seems the most balanced here. First level is our hometown, and we've got a simple objective of earning 5,000 points within a 2-minute time limit. What's really neat though is that we can free skate around the level to our heart's content and start the timer when we're good and ready. I really like that, as it gives us a chance to feel out the controls, which, thank God, because this is going to give my muscle memory a run for its money. So, unlike Pro Skater, where you have a dedicated ollie button and all of your tricks are assigned to different symbols on the controller, Thrasher instead gives you a dedicated push button, which is X to build up momentum. Then, for example, if you wanted to do a flip trick, you press triangle and your skater will ollie and perform the trick. If you want to add a rotation to that, you also need to press circle at the same time. Grab tricks are performed by jumping with square and then using circle and directions to pull off the different tricks, while grinding is assigned to the X button. Have you got all of that? Basically, it's a mess when you first start out, but the longer you play, you do adjust to it all, I will admit. Now, I'm sure true skaters might be able to appreciate the depth to how tricks are performed in this game, but I'll take the ease of pick up and play any day of the week, because it only makes the game, and in this case skateboarding, more accessible to the widest possible audience. Just saying. Anyway, once you've wrapped your head around all of that, you can start your run, and this is where you need to do your best to link tricks together and own each spot as much as possible, which is easier said than done. Taking inspiration from real-life locations like Brooklyn Banks, hills in San Francisco, and the famous Venice Beach graffiti pit, we encounter some very iconic spots in skateboarding lore over the course of our journey, but these levels are not skater-friendly. No. See, the way Pro Skater video gamified these locations into a way that made them flow incredibly well just isn't present here, and that really sucks. It does complement the grittier, hardcore control scheme, I will give it that. There is a clear emphasis on street skating here, which blew up in the 90s, and so naturally, the game wants us to make the best of whatever street curbs, benches, and harsh embankments we can find. There is nothing wrong with that per se, but I think the conflict that I'm facing here is that if I wanted to do that, then I could go out and bust my ass learning to do that. Whereas video games represent an escape, achieving impossible dreams and defying reality. Now, I'm not suggesting that either is more correct than the other, I'm simply suggesting that the concept of dropping in off a roof with a fat-ass McTwist onto a suspended rail for a hidden tape, and then bombing down a hill into a tremendous 900 while destroying a dam is a hell of a lot more fun to play, if you know what I'm saying. This game does still do a lot of things right in representing skateboarding though. The iconic locations really is a big one, and I do find it quite interesting seeing them next to the Pro Skater counterparts. And if it does teach you one thing, it's that skating in real life is a grind. You will fall, you will get hurt, and you have to try and try over and over again. And all things considered, I do like that it offers a completely different experience. If you fail to make your score in the level, you'll be chased down by police officers, muggers, and angry guard dogs. And trust me, if they catch you, you're in big trouble. The goal is to get in, bust a gnarly high score, and get out of there before the heat arrives. It's kind of funny, but that is art imitating life, and an aspect that I really like about this game. It is so satisfying landing your last few tricks in hot pursuit like this and escaping by the skin of your teeth. But there is also nothing else to it. It's just 12 levels of the exact same format over and over, which gets so repetitive, especially with that sharp learning curve. One of the things that makes this game so hard is its ragdoll physics system. Whoa, look at him go! It's funny to see this kind of thing in a PS1 game. It was pretty groundbreaking at the time, but it's too sensitive for my liking. You only need to be airborne for a couple of frames for him to just fly away and bail. It's just far too sensitive, and trying to angle yourself perfectly to land is made even more complex by needing to make sure you land correctly. Pro Skater's big drop mechanic, my arch nemesis. Yeah, it's present here. If you jump from too great a height, you need to hold the ollie button to brace for the impact. I find that awkward to do in Pro Skater with big crazy verts. How do do you think I feel about it here with these split-second reaction times on low street courses? It's brutal, man. Specifically, the level in the LA River stands out as one of the worst to play. It makes me want to just lie down in the shit water and wait to pass on. If you crash on these large embankments, he floats upwards, defying all gravity. It's like I'm ascending to heaven, but then you respawn back into hell. Worst is the game puts you back in the exact spot where you fell, leaving you in some of the most unskateable positions on the map. How is that fair? There are so few decent lines to make for scoring reasonable points, I don't really have time once the clock is ticking to get myself back into a suitable position to try again. If this game let you hop off and walk around to set yourself up for tricks better, this would be seriously next level as a sim. Look at Skate a decade later. Walking and setting respawn points was the key to success on nailing and owning different spots. We just can't do that here, so you find yourself in an endless loop trying with all your might, wrestling just to make what should be a relatively simple trick. And when you get the exact same song every time you replay a level, my god does it begin to drone on you. Every level is the same thing, no variation, every level is dark and brooding with zero colour, and when you exit, you'll see the giant black void this plane of existence is floating in. It's almost surreal. I wish I had more to comment on with this one, but it's honestly void of commentary. Listen, it's definitely an alternative to the arcade style of Pro Skater, but at the same time, it feels about 4 years out of date for when it released. If this had dropped in the early or mid-90s, it could have left a much larger impact on history. Such detailed skating controls hadn't been seen yet, and wouldn't really be replicated again until Skate in 2007. While most skating games entered the third dimension as racing titles, this could have set the bar quite high, but up against Tony Hawk, it doesn't stand a chance. With the vastly superior graphics, more inviting controls, and entertaining playstyle, big names, and even little quality of life elements Thrasher seemingly didn't even consider. For example, there are famous skate parks and obstacles featured in the game, but do you get extra points for tricking on them, like the gaps in Pro Skater? No, you don't. Not only would that have helped to balance out some of the difficulty with an additional way to earn points, but it would only continue to further the legacy of these iconic pieces of history. And also, by the way, not focusing on all genres of skating, excluding vert-related stuff almost entirely, in a way, actually kind of fails the rich legacy of skateboarding in my opinion. It's definitely a game of the times, focusing on the now of 1999, but in 2022, looking back, it didn't really offer anything next to Pro Skater. You can still do low tech lines on the street levels in THPS, and the competitions are far better too, with a best of 3 system of actual heats. Finally, once I found myself getting fed up with the later levels, just wanting it to be over, I noticed that you can just spam the same tricks over and over again. Eventually they will lose all of their point values, but you can go to a different area on the map and do it all again just fine. Pro Skater built in the failsafe that repetition in tricks would hurt your scoring ability across the entire map, forcing you to actually learn how to get better. So cheesing through the last onslaught of levels to finally finish the game, only to be told to do it all again on expert difficulty if I want to get on the cover of Thrasher, no, I'd rather not, thanks. Look, just to sum things up here, I did at times enjoy this game. When I was able to find a rhythm in certain levels and actually execute some cool shit, it showed a glimmer of hope that it could have been this revolutionary, game-changing title. It's honest and true to the environments and the scene at the time, purely focused on its mission to bring street skating to video games. There is a solid foundation here, but the execution leaves it feeling quite niche. It's harder to pick up and play, it requires a greater learning curve to get good, and while things like ragdoll physics were ahead of their time, it's just too early for them to function at a level of quality that they need to be at in order to make that technical leap actually mean something. There are positives here, there are certainly negatives. Side by side, graphically, there is a clear winner. But I also think gameplay-wise, this just can't compete with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, even at its inception. Thrasher presents Skate and Destroy gets 5 out of 10. It's a damn shame this one missed the mark, honestly. It was definitely ahead of its time and should still earn praise for that, even if it was to its own detriment. But not myself nor anybody else can take away that what it tried to achieve for the industry is something to be commended, and surely, if it inspired even a few kids to go out and pick up a skateboard, then it was all worth it. It's a bit of a rocky start to Hawktober this year, but isn't that always how it goes? Listen though, already I'm finding a lot to sink my teeth into with the whole pro skater alternatives concept, so be sure to tune in tomorrow and all week as we continue to look at the competition for one of video games' greatest franchises. But until tomorrow, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, remember to share it with your friends and on social media, and let them know that Hawktober is back with a bang. I'm Square-Eyed Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.